The New York Jets tried to trade for Keenan Allen. It didn't work. They pivoted, and it might have worked out better in the long run. We explain.
Zoinks! It is unequivocally the Super Bowl for New York Jet fans.
Field Yates, baby. Field Gosh darn Yates. Let's bring him on the show. Come on, people. Connor Rogers is joining the show. What's up, Connor? But Trevor Gosh darn Sycamore, baby, for me, personally, my favorite New York Jet of all time.
Wow, it's great to be on. What an intro that was right there.
Paul, nobody does an intro like you, man.
Paul, you give the best intro of literally any podcast that I've ever been.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas.
Hey, what's poppin', everybody? Paul Esden Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcast. Before we go any further, let's give a shout-out to Flight 24, the folks over at One Jets Drive, cranking out some New York Jets content. If you guys haven't seen it, go to the New York Jets app, go to the New York Jets social media portals. It's a mini 3-episode documentary series, and the episode last night had some Senior Bowl, some Combine, some free agency, kind of all packaged into one 40-ish minute episode. Episode 2 will be cranked out. It's covering the draft and the immediate coverage of it. And then there's a third episode coming after that. So phenomenal stuff. Absolutely terrific. Really enjoyed it. So some good coverage. I'll be tweeting out some clips. I was taking some notes during the doc. Tweeted out a couple of interesting clips. I'll tweet out a couple more. That is twitter.com or x.com/@BoyGreen25, baby. Make sure you enjoy it. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. But I'm looking forward to it. Now, here's the episode today. I wanted to make sure I got this in before the draft. This is a topic I've been kind of sitting on for a little bit, but breaking news, Zach Wilson happened or what have you over the last couple of days. I think this is a good lesson heading into the draft too, because there are things that we want to happen. They suddenly pop up on our radar. We want them to happen. We try to will them into existence, and then for whatever reason, it doesn't. I will bring you up the example of Tyreek Hill. The Jets had a trade locked in for Tyreek Hill. Okay? The Kansas City Chiefs called them. The Jets and Chiefs are on the phone. They're figuring out all the juicy details about it. And they agree to the framework of a deal. Now, that doesn't get a trade done because the Chiefs allowed Tyreek Hill to pick the destination that he wanted to go. So they also agreed to a framework of a separate deal to Miami Dolphins, and then again allowed the Jets and Dolphins to talk to Tyreek Hill one-on-one, and then he got to figure out what he was going to do. By the way, for people who forget what that trade was, I want to bring it back up because I think it's important. The Jets agreed to send 2 second-round picks in 2022. That's number 35 overall, number 38 overall, plus they did a third-round pick swap, which would have dropped the Jets from 69 to 103 overall. That was the trade. And, of course, the Jets get Tyreek Hill in that deal. And everyone, a lot of us, I won't speak for everyone. For me, I was giddy. The thought of Tyreek Hill, this explosive playmaker being added to the Jets, would have been really fun. And as we all know, obviously, the Jets don't get him. And there's initial disappointment in not getting a Tyreek Hill. You're like, man, that would have been so cool. But then I say, what happened then? Because it's funny, the things that happen and the trades that could have happened. Again, the framework of the trade was agreed to. Here's this, folks. If this trade happened for Tyreek Hill, the Jets don't have Breece Hall. They don't have Breece Hall. They don't have Garrett Wilson. They don't have Jermaine Johnson. That's why I'm saying that sometimes, and it's going to go back to this Keenan Allen story in a few minutes, sometimes, I've heard Randy Mueller tell me this a bunch, former NFL general manager. He said, sometimes the best move I ever made was the one I didn't. And the Jets didn't make the Tyreek Hill trade. And it ended up being Breece Hall. Can you imagine where this team is without Breece Hall? Jermaine Johnson, who had a second-year explosion. Garrett Wilson, Sure, the Jets still would have had their 10th overall pick, but after trading for Tyreek Hill, would they have also have drafted Garrett Wilson? Unlikely. They probably would have taken, maybe they would have taken Jermaine Johnson with the 10th overall pick then. And then you have no Garrett and you have no Brees. Completely your mind changes of what that could have been. So it ends up working out. Oh, thank goodness. The Jets didn't end up with Tyreek Hill because it worked out in the long run. This one, we don't have to necessarily wait for the long run. I mean, I guess we got to see how it plays out. The Jets were in on then LA Chargers wide receiver Keenan Allen. They attempted to trade for him. And then, for whatever reason, the details are murky on whether it was a Keenan thing or a team thing. Regardless, he didn't end up being a Jet. And here, so I started looking into it. Because Rich Cimini joined Will Parkinson on TOJ Talks, and he made a comment that piqued my interest. And Rich Cimini told Will Parkinson on TOJ Talks this: if the Jets would have traded for Keenan Allen, who they were interested in, they wouldn't have been able to acquire pass rusher Hassan Reddick. And I thought about that. I'm like, that's interesting. So then all of a sudden, I started looking up the numbers because I was curious. I was very curious about it. And the thing I was curious about is how much money was Keenan Allen owed? And he was owed $23.1 million in cash this year. That was the money that was supposed to go to Keenan Allen. The Jets, of course, don't get Keenan Allen, so $23.1 million that they set aside for Keenan Allen to make that deal happen didn't happen. You know what they did with the $23.1 million? I'll tell you exactly what they did. They signed Mike Williams, and his yearly cash owed to him for this season is $8.6 million. Hassan Reddick, who you guys are talking about in the chat, okay? Hassan Reddick was owed $14.5 million in cash. What's the math on that? Beep, boop, bop. I'll save you the math. Mike Williams and Hassan Reddick are making the same amount of money this year that Keenan Allen is making. The same amount. $23.1 million. Is Keenan Allen a better player than Mike Williams? Doy. Of course he is. He is 1,000% a better receiver than Mike Williams. Keenan Allen is second all-time in Chargers career receiving yardage. He's a 6-time Pro Bowler. He's obviously better. I'm not saying that. But I'll tell you is, the gap between Keenan Allen and Mike Williams is more than made up for because you're getting Hassan Reddick on top of that. If I can get, which the Jets did, a slightly worse receiver than Keenan, which is what Mike Williams is, he's still really good, but he's not great. He's not Keenan Allen, but he's really good. And you get Hassan Reddick, who has 50.5 sacks over the last 4 years. Only 4 players have more than him over that span of time. Yeah. Or he is 4th among them, so there's 3 players above him. I like that math. So again, I think the lesson to be learned here in all of this is that sometimes the best move you can make is the one you didn't. On the surface, Keenan Allen would have been friggin' awesome. I floated that earlier in the offseason as I was trying to think of wide receiver trades no one was talking about. I'm like, ooh, Keenan Allen would be cool. And Chargers fans said, shut up, Paul. We're not trading Keenan Allen. Well, he ended up getting traded. But I couldn't really dunk on him much because, we didn't get him either. But I was like, you did trade him. But the point is that if you could have picked, Jet fans, you could have option number 1, Keenan Allen, or option number 2, Mike Williams and Hassan Reddick. We'd all pick door number 2. We would all pick door number 2. So sometimes it works out better in the long run is the moral of the story, which also, by the way, if we go in the draft and you get an initial thing that you're like, that didn't happen. Don't fret. Maybe it will happen. So it was like a light bulb clicked when I saw the numbers and it all came up and I'm like, 23.1 million. 23.1 million. Let Joe Douglas cook. And I'm excited for the season. So there you go. There are more details in the article down below. In the YouTube description if you'd like to read more about that. But yeah, the Jets were able to transform a failed pursuit of Keenan Allen via trade. He ends up going to the Bears. Okay? He ends up going to the Bears with a 4th-round draft selection. Keenan Allen, by the way, for those asking, is 31 years of age. He will turn 32 this week. Yeah, me and him are birthday boys this week. He turns 32. He's a little older than me. He's a year older than me. He turns 32 this week. So there's an age thing, but better too. Long story short, everything happens for a reason, folks, or destiny, whatever you choose to believe in. And yes, as well, how did I not start with this? Tomorrow is the first round of the NFL draft. We're finally here, Jet fans. After all this time, it feels kind of crazy. It feels really crazy. I can't believe, because we speculate and we talk about this, we talk about that. It's just it's a wild experience. Wild, which is exciting. NC, good morning from Carolina. Welcome, Boy Green Superfan Club. Appreciate you. Dave from New Brunswick. Morning. I'm going back to sleep, but wanted Boy Green's voice in the background. There you go. I love it. I'm glad that can be soothing. I got to sign up for one of those. Who was that? It was like Matthew McConaughey or something. Someone signed up for that sleeping thing that you're supposed to play when you're sleeping, like an actor. Yeah, you just fall asleep now. I can't. I don't know. I don't think I could probably do a Matthew McConaughey voice, but yeah, like celebrities can sign up for that and get paid to do that. That is wild. But maybe I got to do that too. We all got to pay the bills, put money on the table. John Sauer, got a lot of South Carolina people in here. Very nice. Carolina folks, good morning. Yes. Zoink, Zooey Mama, you bet. I am not getting breakfast for the familia. I only do it once a week. It's on Sundays. We go to a diner normally here locally. They got donuts and stuff here at the house they could take. But no, I got the radio show immediately after and got to run around. So no familia today, which for the breakfast. I'm just double checking my schedule. And no, we don't have. Someone else asked if there's a guest today. There's no guest today. It's going to be me, you, and everybody else. It's going to be all us together until Sunday is Hop on Pop. We might have a draft analyst on one of the mornings. We'll see. That's TBD. To kind of tell us like their take on everything. But I'll keep you guys posted on that. That's not currently scheduled. Trevor Sikkim is awesome. You'll be hearing from him soon, I'm sure, here on the channel. I guess you literally hear from him. It's as well. Every day on the intro. Snowball, Paul the Beard is taking on a life of its own. Yeah, there's a lot of silver whiskers happening here. You can kind of see it. It's burly. It's lumberjacky is what's happening here. It's hard to contain this puppy. It's hard to contain it. You can only hope to enjoy it. But it is gaining some chutzpah. Ricky says, Ricky, New York, I'm almost as excited about 72 and 111 as I am about 10. Is that crazy as that sounds? Think of the guys we could get if they get the right guys. Yeah, you're not crazy, Ricky. Of course, the first round gets a lot of hubbub, and there's the jersey, and then if the person's there, they come out, and there's a lot of juice. No doubt about it. But I'll be honest, I just get excited for the draft, especially this team, because especially if you watch Flight 24 last night, like you're just hyped up. You're like, oh baby. This roster is immaculate. You're about to add some more talent to the team. And then, we're going to have like this abstinence makes the heart grow fonder thing. Like we will have some OTAs. We'll have the May schedule. That's always a lot of fun. I love doing that show. Mandatory minicamp, things of that nature. So we have something for the next couple of months of, May, June-ish. And then we have that gap of nothingness for like a month until training camp. But I'm fired up for the season, man. I'm fired up for the season. But the draft's going to be a lot of fun. Let's go to Lawrence here. Having Williams with a $2.7 million cap hit. Is that it for him? Yeah, I just said yearly cash is the thing I was looking at. But yeah, let me see on old Mike Williams. Make sure I get that so I can give you guys the specific contract numbers. Let's see. He's got a $1.25 million base salary, $2.74 million cap hit, $8.6 million dead money, although that won't be necessary. Let me see. He gets a signing bonus of $3.3 million, restructure bonus of $4 million, carrying a cap hit. Yeah, they're just spreading it out a little bit. But basically, he is getting $8.6 million, and then all the rest we will see what happens. And then there's a bunch of void years over the next couple of years. What'll be? He's got a $5.8 million dead cap hit next year, even if he's not on the team. and then 1.4, 1.4, 1.4. So we'll be paying Mike Williams through 2028, whether he's on the team or not. So yeah, hey, it's a way to spread the money. Okay. John so it says, I really love a trade back. Again, the right trade back. I don't want to just trade back to trade back, but if there's the right trade back there, I'm open to it. Let's see. Destiny is a real thing from Snowball. Yeah, it could be written in the stars, and we're just playing out whatever the mission is. Could be. Ricky in New York. I never wanted Hill, but I did want Andrew Brown, though. I don't think either would have been good for the locker room, especially since you saw how A.J. Brown poisoned the mind of Elijah Moore, having that kind of influence, like in stoking the flames, and we saw how he reacted on the sideline. Like with Zach Wilson, obviously that wouldn't have been good, and you hope it would be fine with Aaron Rodgers, but you get a really good player, sometimes it comes at a cost. So I think in the long run, it worked out. Again, I wanted the Deebo Samuels. That's another NFL. What coulda, shoulda, woulda happened. Deebo, A.J. Brown, Tyreek Hill, all those guys. Like, think about it. And the Jets ended up getting down and said, I guess we'll get this Garrett Wilson kid. It works out because you hit on Garrett Wilson, and he's dirt cheap for the next couple of years before you got to pay him. But if you don't hit on the wide receiver, then you don't have the wide receiver, and he sucks. So it gets even worse. Yeah, high character guys. That's important in a locker room. Excellent point, Ricky in New York. Yeah, let's see. Kinlaw running around New Jersey eating squirrels. I almost fell out of my chair when I heard that story with Caroline Henderson. I was like, what? But little crazy. Keep 10, land a great Jet for years. I mean, maybe that could be the moral of the story. I guess if you perceive it that way, Andrew Yakos will be a Jet. The Jets have had good history with the 10th overall pick. John says sometimes we just don't see JD's brilliance. Yeah, I guess because to get Reddick and Mike Williams is I didn't have that on the bingo card for the same amount of money. That's good. Sometimes you just got to trust the process, I guess. I want the Jets to get a gosh darn second round pick. Maybe it'll happen. You think about a desperate team, like one off the top of my head, New Orleans, boy. I keep hearing they are desperate for offensive tackle. And while everyone talks about the quarterback run of 11, 12, 13 in front of them, it could be an offensive tackle run. They could miss out. So they may be willing to pay the iron price to move up. That one could make sense. Let's see. I don't think Chargers are trading Justin Herbert. I saw that. I don't know. That's not happening. Let's see here. Everyone talking about their origin story in here. Very nice. John says he can block any kick Boy Green throws at me. That's an interesting challenge. Darren, what's everyone thinking on draft? Trade up, trade down, or stay put? There's compelling cases for each. My gut tells me it's a trade up. That you're going to get, if you're watching on NFL Network, ESPN, whichever you prefer, you're going to get the flash thing where it's like the Falcons on, and then you see trade, and then all of a sudden the new/old Jets logo pops up, and you know what they're doing. They're moving up. And I think they could move up for Joe Alt or Rome Odunze. That's what my gut says. If either one falls, if the Titans do something silly and the Falcons are, I think the trade partner of choice for the Jets is the Atlanta Falcons at 8. I think you're either going to get Joe Alt or Rome Odunze, and I'm willing to pay the price. Now, the price according to the value chart is like nothing. It's like a fourth maybe, but I wonder what they will charge. Either way, I'm curious to see the price because I want to leapfrog the Bears. Bears. I see Caleb Williams hanging out with Rome Odunze. Oh, hell no. Let's ruin that party, Jet fans. Let's swipe, swiper, no swiping. Screw you, you bastards. Rome Odunze is ours, or Joe Alt for that matter. Either one would be phenomenal. So I hope so. Again, if they do the Marvin Harrison thing, I will just be flabbergasted in a good way, like whoa, and not bad way, but like wow, That'll shake up the draft. But if you do the mini for Joe Alt or Rome Odunze, I think you'd put yourself in a very, very good position. I'm a New Yorker, live in Oswego, travel to Syracuse for the radio station, about 45 minutes away, give or take. Let's see. Yeah, if he's there if Odunze is there at 10, as Matthias says, of course I'm taking him at 10. I don't know if he's there. I don't know what the Bears do. They could go wide receiver. They could go defense. They could go offensive line. Poof, they could go in so many different directions. That's what NC thinks. Jets, Atlanta, trade for Odunze. Sign me up. That would be terrific. Yeah, Dunze's confidence is good. He's got high character from what I've heard from people. He checks off a lot of things. The statistics are impressive. He just really checks off every box. The size is nice. Even the questions that you had, like separation, you look on tape and you can see the separation. You can see on those flashes. You can see on those plays. He can create separation. He's a high school sprinter. I don't know, man. Odunze seems like my guy. Again, I love Marvin Harrison Jr., but he seems somewhat unrealistic with how far you'd have to likely trade up. Dave from New Brunswick. Personally, I liked your mock more than Woody's. Yeah, you guys can check that out. It's in the YouTube community channel. We did a dueling 7-round mock draft if we were the GM, and boy, I was cooking, baby. I was trading up all over the place. We ended up with 2 first-round picks, and I didn't trade back. I traded up. So try to do that math, people, of how I figured that one out. So you guys can react to that on our YouTube community channel or just rewatch a video. It's in our live section, Boy Green Meets Woody, from yesterday on the post-Zach Wilson mock. That is where it all happened. Odunze is a class act. Again, I like his makeup. He's cut from the right jib. His family did a wonderful job raising the young man, and he's a really good football player. So it kind of all lines up. Seems like a Joe Douglas kind of guy. If I were to speculate on that. NC says, as much as I want to trade down, what happens if Garrett gets hurt? Getting Odunze may be a bigger priority. That's what scares the crap out of me, to be honest. You can plan for injuries. That's what a GM is supposed to do. But like as a fan, you don't even want to bring your mind to that dark place. But if he goes down, Allen Lazard is your number 1 wide receiver, because or Mike Williams, who is fine, but I am still haunted by the words that echoed at the annual league meeting when the Jets said Mike Williams is a long way to go. Those words have just been reverberating in my cranium for the last month. And I'm like, a long way to go. Like, he's been recovering for 4 or 5 months from the ACL, and I understand he's not suiting up tomorrow, but just why they said that. Again, it could just be nothing. I could be overreacting to a comment at a league meeting. Maybe they're trying to temper expectations. I don't know, but he's expected to miss a large chunk of training camp. Man, you're right. Garrett goes down all of a sudden. Oh, boy. So I think you need some other plans. You don't want to be the Pillsbury Doughboy. You don't want to be poked in the belly button with one injury and all the air comes out. No, sir. It's not where I want to be. No, it is. Let's see. William, you look good at a new old logo hat, Boy Green. The color back on the draft hat is awesome. I can't wait. I can't wait to see it. We'll see it. Hopefully. I would love to see it. You and Woody both had a good draft. Well, it was cool because I had a fan ask. I wrote it in my notes, but I had a fan ask Paul this week before the draft, can you present a trade up opportunity and a trade down? And I didn't know what Woody was going to do, but it ended up working out beautifully to see how 2 mock drafts can potentially play out, where you have someone being very aggressive moving up and someone being aggressive in a different way, pragmatic perhaps, of trading back. So I thought it worked out very, very well. It was cool. It was cool to get those varying perspectives. So we've obviously had plenty of stand pat mocks as well. So I thought that was very good. Very good as well. Yeah, for sure. Avatar says, let me go to Peter first. Peter Campisi. Brian Thomas is rated 4th best wide receiver this class. Would anyone be pissed if we took him at 10? Pissed. Pissed is a hard word. I just have concerns, man, because so I guess pissed. Yeah, I guess that would be it. Because like he's talented and the size, and it's easy to fall in love if you put on your blinders and just kind of look at like if you have a girlfriend and you just see only the positives and you block out everything else, you're like, okay, this could work. And then all of a sudden you're avoiding a lot of red flags. The red flags are the drops, the lack of a route tree that you can either blame on LSU for not asking him to do more, or on Brian Thomas for not having more in the tool bag of goes and slants and things of that nature. That part kind of confuses me. Not confuses me, concerns me. Hearing, oh boy, if he gets in the right wide receiver coach's hands, they could take him to this other level as this piece of clay. I don't need a long-term development project. I need something right now. And there are things he could do right now, but consistently, like, this isn't a great comparison maybe, but Mike Wallace, if you guys remember that guy for the Dolphins and Steelers and everything, he ran really fast and caught a lot of touchdowns. There wasn't a lot of variety to the diet, but that could be very effective in the NFL. But 10th overall, it's a little aggressive, So yeah, I guess pissed because I think he can trade back. And if I trade back and lost him, I'd be like, all right. 10 would be rich. 10 would be rich for me. Dane Brugler doesn't think so, and he covers the draft for a living. So you could take his opinion over mine if you want. He's the one who said no. He's going to be a top half of first round guy, and he's bullish, as he says, on him. But yeah, I'm going to be honest. Brian Thomas scares the hell out of me. He played with a lot of talent at LSU. He had Malik Neighbors on the other side. He had Jaden Daniels. He had one of the best offensive lines. I mean, you add all the pieces together. He was in ideal circumstances, and he had 1 year of production. The 1 year of production always scares me, especially considering all those other circumstances, I would say. In that case, I'm in the John Sauer camp. I think if you can't get one of the big 3 wide receivers, who I'd like any of them, to be honest, then you trade down. Outside of Joe Alt or something. Like if Joe Alt's there, you take him. If one of the big 3 receivers are, you take him. If Brock Bowers is there, I'd consider a mini trade back to potentially still get Brock Bowers. That would be there. But yeah, if it's Brian Thomas or, all of a sudden I'm evaluating a different field. That's how I look at it. We have Infrared Jets. He says, I'm more worried about our 4th round pick than our 1st round pick. Get Jordan Travis in the 4th round. We got 2 4th round picks, 111 and 134. We'll see what happens. They might be tempted to go in those waters. Jordan Reed, 7th round mock draft, had Jordan Travis as Mr. Irrelevant, pick 257. So maybe there's a slide coming for Mr. Jordan Travis. White Castle at the corner. Oh, very nice. Based on greater need at receiver, I'd take Brian Thomas Jr. over Bowers at 10 if he's the last premium receiver. I'd probably prefer Brock Bowers in that situation. And not probably, I would. And see, think I'd be very surprised if Odunze's there at 10. I'd be pretty surprised too, because there would have to be absolute madness for that to happen, in my opinion. Absolute madness. And hey, I mean, the draft could get crazy, I guess. But we'll see. Paul, am I doing a live draft show? I'm not sure. I'll have to do one of those poll things or something. At a bare minimum, I'll tell you this. I'm doing, an instant reaction pick. I might even have the camera on me starting around the 7th or 8th pick just to make sure you guys get my genuine reaction to the pick. I'm not sure if we're doing a straight up live show. I'm not sure. A few people have requested me to appear on other shows to talk about the Jets draft pick. So I'm trying to restrict how many of those I do because, I want to enjoy the draft too. But I'm doing a couple of those. I'm doing the instant reaction. So there will be some heavy content. There'll be some video content. I don't think we'll be just straight up live. But I'll let you guys know if that changes. Anything can happen, I suppose. Okay, let me... Okay, Snowball's been busy as heck. Dakota's been busy as heck not being on here. That's okay. It's good to hear from you, though, pal. All right, everybody. We have over 500 people in the room. Make sure you guys like the video. Hit subscribe down below. We're actually going to jump off a little bit early here, and I got to run around before I have to go to the radio station. But I freaking love you guys, Again, we're going to have our freaking draft tomorrow. Make sure you guys watch the movie Draft Day. Kevin Costner. That's phenomenal. It's an absolute must every Thursday of draft year. I've been doing it for a bunch of years, so make sure you guys do that. Plus, me and Woody will do some buy or sell on the latest Jets rumors we're hearing live at 3 o'clock tomorrow. So we got Boy Green Daily. We've got the live little thing happening at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then we got the draft, baby. It should be amazing. Again, make sure you guys like the video. Make sure you guys hit subscribe. And if you want to go the extra mile, join the Boy Green Super Fan Club, our YouTube membership, to help support the channel. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Take care.